Good evening أسماء. Asma, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you, Hannah?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's wrong with you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Nothing, I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. محدش لسه حاضر.
Yeah, we are waiting. I think tomorrow you have a training on Connect 4.
Yes.
إن شاء الله يكون مفيد.
إن شاء الله. المشكلة إن أنا وجعة محترمة.
إيه؟
والله وجعت على ركبتي التحتية.
لا ألف سلامة عليكي. البيت ولا المدرسة؟
ربنا يستر ويعرف أقول. لا ده النهاردة.
ألف سلامة يا أسماء.
الله يخليكي. بقول لك ربنا يستر والواحد يعرف يروح بكرة.
إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله.
متأخر شوية هتكوني أحسن إن شاء الله.
يا رب بإذن الله. إحنا كده المفروض ملناش توقيع في المدرسة صح؟
مش عارفة، تأكدي من المدير نفسه.
هو مستر سيد جه على الجروب إن توقيع هيبقى في هناك لأن أنت كده هتاخدي إخلة.
صح أيوة. Miss Noha, how are you?
بس حرام يعني
Miss Asma, Miss Noha and Muhammad Reza. Hi, Miss Noha.
Hi, Miss Hannah.
How are you?
Fine.
Alhamdulillah. And I have Muhammad Reza. Who's Muhammad Reza?
Hi, Miss Hannah, how are you?
Mr. Reza?
Yes.
Welcome, Mr. Reza. So happy to be with us.
Me too.
Okay. Let's start. I'll share the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we have Asma, Miss Noha, Mr. Reda, and I can't see the name. You can type your name in the chat box. Okay. So let's welcome our colleagues. We have Miss Noha, Mr. Reda, Miss Asma, Miss Ilham, and Miss Asma Jamal. There is another colleague, but I don't know his name or her name because the name is not, the name doesn't appear. Okay, could you please send your name in the chat box? Okay, so welcome back, Miss Noha, Miss Asma Jamal, Miss Ilham, Miss Asma, Miss Rida, and Miss Rania. Really happy to see you again. And welcome to our new session. And good evening.
Good evening, Miss Hannah.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
ازي حضرتك مس هاني؟
الحمد لله. Hope you are fine.
Miss you too much.
Miss you so much, and I hope the first week was not bad because I sent on the WhatsApp group, and I can feel your suffer with the large class. So today, inshallah,
Large numbers.
yes, the large numbers. So today, inshallah, we will talk about the large class. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see together the session outline. First of all, we'll talk about what makes a large class challenging, because I think all of us have the same problem. All of us.
Yeah.
Yes. On the first day of school, we found a lot of students in our classes, and all of us have, I think all of us have large classes, more than 40, 50, and 60. I know that. So we will know together what makes a large class challenging for teachers and for students, in fact. And how can the large classes be both challenging and rewarding? Can be something good sometimes to have, or in certain points, to have a large class. We will know some strategies, suggestions to deal with the large classes. And at the end, as we used to do, we have some reflection. First of all, I have a question. What makes a large class challenging? For example, I have in my classroom more than 55 students, about 60. So
A lot of noise.
Noise. Yeah.
Yeah, in primary 2, I have about 60 students. So what makes a large class challenging? What about you? What problems as teachers can we face while teaching the large classes?
We don't have enough time to contact with each student alone.
Yeah, that's right. We don't have enough time to deal with each student. That's right, Asma. Yes. What else?
They
A
make
lot of noise.
Noise.
A
Yeah.
lot of noise. Yes, that's right. So the noise level is too high. Yes, that's right. What else?
Disorder. Disorder.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
time control class.
Yes, that's right, Miss Asma. I can't manage my classroom, or I can't control their behavior. Yes, that's right. What else?
It is too hard to provide the student with all information about the lesson. I can't give grammar, vocab, a large of student. I can't control of them. I mean,
Yes.
the time of 30 minutes. The lesson.
Yeah. So you have 30 minutes for each lesson.
About each lesson. How it is so difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult to practice in enough way with our students, with the large class, and
يعني
how to control them. Yes, Miss Ilham.
يعني I can't control the student يعني الفوكاب I can't give 5 minutes for a large student.
Yeah, that's
The structure, listen and read, repeat, all of this. 3 minutes, it is too hard.
yes. Okay. Any other?
There is no
problems?
time for week.
So there is no enough time for practicing or for dealing with each student.
Yes.
Lack of time.
The objectives of the lesson
Yeah.
not achieved.
Yeah, so you can't achieve all the objectives of the lessons because of the large class and the lack of time.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I can't agree more with you because yeah, me as a teacher, I have the same challenges and the same problems with my classes. Yeah, it became, I think, a common problem or challenging. Okay. So here I mentioned some challenging that we can find with the large class. Number one, it's difficult to keep good discipline or manage the class because we have some bad behavior or inappropriate behavior, let's say that. Number two, it's difficult to get the students' attention because all of the time you want your students to be on task. So all of the time you try your best to get their attention. Number three, as you said, the noise level of students is too high. And students in large class often have mixed abilities. You have many levels of students in the same class, and you want to deal with them. And another point here, it's difficult to build rapport with the students. Rapport means a good relationship between you and the students and between the students themselves. Okay, so we have some problems with the large classes or challenges with the large class. Okay. Here I have a sentence. Large classes are usually defined as classes with more than space students. What do you think?
Again, Miss Hannah.
Okay. The number of students. When I say large classes, what comes in our minds is the large number of students. Okay, so what do you think about the large class, the number of students in the large class? Raghda said 40 students, more than 40. What do you think?
هي دي 5 اهي انت عايزة 20 هات الباقي.
What do you think? So the large class are usually defined as classes with more than how many students?
More than 60.
60. Okay, Miss Ilham said 60. Miss Raghda said 40. What do you think?
30.
30. Ramya?
30 or 25.
30, 25, Miss Asma. Okay. In fact, of course, it's different from country to country, but the average is large classes are usually defined as classes with more than 30 students. 30 students. Extra large classes more than 40. And oversized classes more than 50. Okay, so all of us have large classes. For example, me in Grade 1, I have 38. So it's still a large class, okay? So in the same time, we can say large classes can be both challenging and rewarding. And of course, today we will discuss how can be challenging and some suggestion to deal with them. But how can the large class be rewarding? What do you think? Rewarding means something good to have large classes to some extent. What do you think? When can I say that the large class is a good thing or have some advantages?
When they
For
are
which?
divided into groups, active groups inside the class.
Yeah, when they are active in the groups, while working group,
Inside the class.
yeah, in groups.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Asma. What else?
When it solves the problem of the large students in the school?
Yes, we will talk about some solution and suggestion to deal with the large class. But I'm talking here now about how can I say that the large class is rewarding, means something good. I have not all of the time. It's not a problem all of the time, but sometimes there are some advantages. Yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah.
What are the advantages of the large classes?
Ms. Hannah, I think that the only advantage or merit for the large classes that the class contains a variety of students.
Yeah, that's right.
And their lessons, and their thoughts, and their so it makes when we have a brainstorming activity, we can get many thoughts or ideas and eliciting many ideas from the students.
Exactly, yes, that's right. That is a point. You sometimes, as you said, Raghda, in the brainstorming activity, will get a lot of ideas, different and varied ideas from your students, because you have different characters and different personalities. Yeah, that's right, exactly. Okay, any other idea? Okay, let's have a look here. Sometimes we can say that the large classes is rewarding to have a large class. Number one, there is a lot of energy going on, because all of the time you are working, you are moving, you are discussing together. So you have a lot of students in your class, so a lot of energy going on, and dynamics can be exciting, because in just one group you can find 10 students. So here, a lot of movement and a lot of action you can do, and a lot of activities you can do with this large class. So the dynamic can be very interesting. Different personality and the characters to work with. And this is what you say, Raghda, about you can receive a lot of ideas and experiences from the students, because they have different characters. Another one, you can get a lot of different types of students interaction. So you can work with the class as a whole, small groups, big groups, and per work. You can ask a student to work individually. So you will have a lot of student interaction, and you can do that with them. So sometimes it has some advantages, but still large classes is really challenging for us as teachers. So let's move to the challenging. What's challenging in the large classes is the classroom management. What does it mean? How do you keep so many students on task? No one left behind. So all of them are working with you. All of them pay attention. Number two, how do you meet the learning needs of so many students? And this is what you said at the very beginning when I asked you what makes a large class challenging. What comes in my mind is the classroom management. How can I control such a number, such a large number? Okay. So in our session today, we will talk about 2 points or 2 areas about the large classes. Number one, class management and meeting individual learning needs. Because as we said, I have a lot of students. So how can I meet their needs, all of them? No one of them left behind, okay? So let's start with classroom management. What does it mean when I say classroom management?
How to control the classroom.
Yes, how to control the classroom.
Control the classroom.
Yes, and Alia said blended learning is there. Yes, Alia, I can, yeah, blended. What do you mean, Alia, with blended learning? Because sometimes we mean with blended learning, learning face-to-face and learning online. But can you explain that?
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes, Alia, go ahead. I'm so happy to be with you, by the way.
Oh my God, the
Because I
same.
know you lost your internet connection.
Yeah, yeah. It's my son's my life partner, so I took it from him.
Okay.
Okay, when you said large classes, what is the advantage or something? I think a blended learning type. If they're at home, we have online session, and we practice in class what we did the last session.
Yes.
This is what I want.
Yes, that's right. Perfect. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Alia. So here today we will discuss two areas: class management and meeting individual learning needs. So what I mean by class management?
How to keep the discipline of the classroom?
How to keep?
How to keep the discipline of the classroom?
Yeah, discipline. That's right. What else?
Achieve the task on time.
Yeah, to do the tasks on time. This is time management. Yes. Okay, in fact, class management as a whole, it means that the process of learning and teaching happen in a productive way. So at the end of the lesson, I feel that I achieved my objectives and the students learn what I intend to teach them. So again, classroom management means that the process of teaching and learning happen in a productive way. Me as a teacher achieved my objectives and the students learned what I want them to learn or what I want to teach them. So here is the class management. How do we make the teaching and learning process unfold, happen in a controlled and productive way when we are dealing with so many students? So it's very important to make the process of teaching and learning happen in such large classes, okay? And the next area is learning needs. As we said, we have a lot of students, different students, and multi-level students. So how do we meet the individual learning needs of each one of them? No one of the students left behind. So each one can learn in a good way, and I can achieve my objectives in the lesson. So each of the students can have a chance to learn in such large classes. And these are the two areas we will talk about: class management and learning needs. Let's start with the class management. And in the class management, we have 4 points to focus on. Number 1, the behavior. As you said, Ms. Noha, me as a teacher, I should try and do my best to keep my students' behavior appropriate and respectful. So I can help my students in large class to behave in a good way, in an appropriate way, in a respectful way, not only with me, but with the students themselves, between the students, okay? This number 1, the behavior. Number 2, the noise level. It's supposed not to be too high, okay? Because if it is too high, you will disturb the other classes. This is number 2. Number 3, if I have activity management, how can I keep them on task? So in order not to interrupt or get them distracted, what can I do? Number 4, the interaction pattern between students. So these are the class management, the points of the class management we'll talk about. So again, we will have 4 points to focus on related to the class management. Number 1, the behavior. How can I help them to behave appropriately? and in a respectful way, not only with me, but with their friends. Number two, the noise level. It's supposed not to be too high, to be appropriate for the task. Number three, the activity management. How can I make the activity done smoothly and in a good way? And number four, the interaction pattern. How can I use the appropriate interaction pattern in such large classes? For example, I can remember when I asked you to do the gallery walk with your students in the classroom, most of you complained that I can't do that because I don't have a space in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't have a space, or I have a large class in my classroom. So I think it's very important for me to adapt, to modify the activity to be suitable for my students or their seating in the classroom. So it's my role as teacher to collect or to choose the right interaction pattern that that is suitable for my students, the number, the seating, and so on. Okay, so let's start with the first point, which is how I can help my students behave appropriately. What do you think? Before showing the suggestion here, what do you think about the behavior, which is very important in the large classes, to keep the behavior of my students appropriate, respectful? As I said, not only for me, but for their friends in the classroom. What do you think? What can I do as a teacher to keep the behavior appropriate in order not to have that behavior? Yes, Ms. Noha.
I should teach the student the classroom rules in the first day of school.
Exactly, yes. You said two important points, the classroom rules and the first day. Yes. So it's very important to show the classroom rules or norms. Sometimes we call them norms, yeah. And it's very important to do that on the first day. Yes. What else? By the way, norms, you let your students suggest the rules. So you ask them simply, what should we, yes, Alia, class norms, excellent. So you ask them to tell you the classroom norms. So what should we do to have a good English classroom? I ask my students in Prep 1 and in Primary 2, what should we do to have a good English classroom? And they will give you some suggestions. No eating, speak English, raise your hand, and so on. So you can write them on a poster next to the board. And on the first day, it's very important to do that on the first day. Thank you, Ms. Noha. Thank you, Alia. What else?
Thanks.
I should make a good relationship between me and the students.
Yeah, sure.
Touch their heart.
Tanya, yeah, that's right. It's very important to good rapport with my students, because once I have such a good relationship between them, they will follow my instructions and follow my rules or norms in the classroom. It's very important, and we will talk about the rapport with my students today, inshallah. What else? Shireen, welcome. Shireen. Happy to be with us.
Welcome.
Okay, Shireen, because you have just joined, we talk about how to keep appropriate behaviors in the large classes, and Miss Noha suggested to setting the rules or the norms on the first day, and Miss Rania suggested building a rapport with my students. So what else should I do as a teacher to keep such appropriate behaviors?
I should remove the gap between the student and me.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, the good rapport. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. I have some suggestion here about. Yes, Noha?
Hania, the sound is not clear.
The sound? Okay, I raise my voice.
Yeah.
Okay. So number one, as you said, so have a simple set of class norms or rules, and it's supposed the students agree on them. So you ask your student, do you agree on that? So no eating in the classroom. Do you agree with that? You have to speak English in the classroom. Do you agree on that? And write them down once they agree on them. And it's very important to do that in the very beginning, on the first day at school, okay? Number two, post the classroom rules where everyone can see them. So it's supposed to be next to the board in the front of the classroom, to be clear. And it's easy for you to point to them, to remind them, pay attention, we have rules or we have norms, okay? Number three, and this is very important, be consistent and fair in enforcing classroom rules or norms. Consistent means to be fair. For example, you told your students no eating in the classroom, but one of your students eat. So what's the consequences? So if you eat in the classroom, you will, you want to share in a game, for example, okay? So you want to share in a game. I suppose that Noha is my student and she eats in the classroom. So I told her you want to share in the next game. And yes, she didn't share in the next game, okay? So I agree with them on this rule and I did that. I carry out these rules. After that, Shireen eats in the classroom, but I didn't do an action. So I didn't do an action with her. Is that fair?
No.
No. So it's supposed to be fair. Consistent means to be fair. If you have some consequences of the rules, if you speak English, by the way, you will erase the board for 3 times in the period. Okay, so one of your students spoke Arabic, so you have this consequence. You will erase the board 3 times. Okay. So another student spoke English, spoke Arabic, and you didn't do the same with the first student. So here you are not fair. The students want to be willing to follow the classroom rules. So put in your mind, you have to be fair with all the students. Okay, this number 3. And number 4, use positive reinforcement to encourage students to follow the classroom rules or norms. So once you feel that some of your students follow the classroom, all of the time encourage them, say that Noha, Shireen, Asma, Nabila follow the classroom, so you have a star and put a star in the classroom. So you have a happy face and put a happy face in the classroom or in the board, I mean. So all of the time give positive feedback to the students who follow the norms of the classrooms, okay? The last one, establish a clear, predictable classroom routine. For example, once Miss Noha comes in the classroom, she writes the date on the board, she greets the students, she asks them to open the book, she checks the homework. So the students know that once Miss Noha comes in the classroom, she checks the homework, or she have a look at the notebook, or she asked us to stand up and speak about so and so. So try to make some routine for your classroom. I know that Miss Shireen, once she comes, she take the attendees, or she, as I said, check the homework. So once I know what steps, the certain steps or the certain routine that I follow in my classroom, students, I think their noise will be not too high. Okay, because they know what's the next step. First, we will work in the student's book, and second, we will work in the workbook. At the end, we will write notes in the notebook and so on, okay? So try to let them know that we have some routine. We do the same in each lesson. So every day we will check the homework. Every day we will take the attendees. Every day we will have a winner in the classroom. So who is the best today? The best today is Alia. So Alia today will get a star. So try to have such routine in your classroom. Okay?
Yeah.
So again, here we have 5. Yes, go ahead, sure.
Miss Anna, we did the last year. We did something to give student to make students have their مش عارفة أقول لك
You can say that in Arabic.
to share all the students in the classroom. We did a stick and write every student's name on one stick.
Yeah.
And we choose a name of one of them to give them a chance to answer.
Yeah. Yes. So here you encourage your students. All of the students should participate in the classroom. Yeah. You don't focus on certain students because you pick the sticks or the names of the students randomly.
Yes.
Am I right? If you don't know the idea that Miss Shireen is talking about, do you know the sticks of ice cream?
Sticks of ice cream, yes.
You can write the names of your students on this sticks and put them into a box or a tin. And once you want any of them answer a question, just pick up the stick one by one and randomly. Don't look at the sticks while picking up the names. So here you can give your students the chance to answer. So here you focus on certain students. Yes, a great suggestion, Shireen. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Yes. Okay. So here, this suggestion about the behavior. Okay. I select a poster from the internet. It's designed by British Council. It's all about classroom rules with cartoon characters. I think it's catchy and colorful. The students can, I think, love them. Here on the left, we have a poster with written rules. Speak in English, hands up, listen, respect each other, try your best. Okay? And the other one is empty. You can write whatever you want. And as we said, you can write these classroom rules and put or post them next to the board, okay? And if you don't want to have something like that, you can write them yourself on a chart, a poster, like as you like, I mean, okay? And how can you give positive feedback to your students? Imagine that they work individually or in groups. You can design something like that, a star chart. And in large classes, if you don't want to carry out this idea individually, I mean for each student, you can do that in groups. So group number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and decide which group followed the rules, which group behave in the classroom in a good way, and put a star for them. And at the end of the week, count the stars for each group. Okay, it can be in a chart like this, a star chart, or it can be in a jar, and you use the scotch to stick the stars next to each group. So at the end, you will count the stars, how many stars in each group, which group is the winner, and so on. Here you will encourage and give them positive feedback to follow the rules and the norms in your classroom. Okay. There are a lot of ideas like that on the internet. You can print them, or you can do that by yourself, by the way. I'll use one of them, inshallah, in my classroom. Okay, because the last week and the week before, I looked for ideas like that. Okay, and here we have another idea. We have a chart with adjectives: excellent, good job, warning when someone doesn't follow the class rules or norms, time out, lost privilege. Privilege, something good they can do. For example, going to the lab, playing games. So once you don't follow the rules, you will lose this advantage, okay, or privilege, okay? And here another one on the right, awesome, super, good job, oops, it looks like a warning. Think about it, a warning, another one, time out, you don't have another chance, and the last one, lost privilege. I use the same idea, but in a different way. At the end, we have warning and punishment, okay? So you can modify what is written on the chart and post them in your classroom. This is all about behavior and how to make appropriate and respectful behavior of your students, okay? This is the first part. Okay, do you have any questions?
I think that the star jar is more effective for the primary student or primary one.
Yes.
As I teach them.
Hope you carry it out, Miss Nora.
Yeah. I did it the last year.
Really? Yeah. So
yeah, but on a chart, not on a jar, on a chart.
Chart.